Castle Neuschwanstein is without a doubt one of, if not the most iconic castle on the planet. Being the inspiration for several Disney cartoon castles and the kind of castle most people would describe as a real fairy tale castle, it has had an enormous impact on Western culture. Having known about Neuschwanstein all my life, it is a castle I wanted to photograph basically since I picked up a camera. It was never my top priority castle to photograph. Last week's video where I photographed Castle Hohenzollern was, but as fate would have it, during the 3 days I spent in the area, I managed to capture some of my favorite photos of the year. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy these videos where I go out into the field and take photos. The more you subscribe, like and comment, the more you give me a reason to keep producing these types of videos. Flipping heck, I've forgotten how sweaty it is to hike. I've only come up like, I don't know, 200 height meters or something like that. But it's so warm. So this right here is my first evening down at Neuschwanstein Castle, which is just the fairy tale castle. I have a couple of days here. I'm going to this viewpoint first, where you're photographing like more towards its facade. Now the fun thing about being at a location like Neuschwanstein is that it has been photographed to death. And I have no illusions that I will be able to get away with anything remotely special compared to all the local landscape photographers down here. Like, you can just look at the work from a guy like Kilian Schönberger, who I met a few years back in Lanzarote. Mind-blowing stuff he has captured here. I have a couple of days crossing my fingers for the weather. It's supposed to be moody over the next couple of days, which hopefully will create some low clouds around the mountains and around the castle. And that is basically what I'm hoping for. Since it is summer, no autumn colors, no hoarfrost, it's not winter, I don't expect any kind of inversions or anything like that. But hopefully some mood. And if I'm super lucky, some great light. It's now living on 4th floor for almost 3 years pays off. Or maybe just the fact that I got in shape. So I've come quite far up this mountain. To be honest, it's also to work out a tiny bit because I've been sitting in the car for the entire day and it's good to move the body. But from up here, I honestly find that the castle is for me a bit too far down relative to the background mountains. So I get too much of a separation between the castle and background mountains, and that doesn't really work for me. So honestly, I think I'll just head back down and find some of the lower viewpoints from up here. So I came down to the area that I first passed by, obviously because it's lower, and I honestly find that I much prefer the relation between the foreground trees, the castle, the background trees on the mountains, and the background mountains from this perspective right here. I think it fits much more, it's a much more dynamic photo, it's a photo with much more depth. Even though I got a couple of decent photos from a bit further up where the light popped out, which was actually really nice. So right now I'm simply just waiting for the light to come over, light up the scene, do anything. The scene is a little bit like side backlit right here today, so should all be good whenever the light pops. And we have light on the castle. It is beautiful. There's like backlit atmosphere behind it. It helps separate it through the mountains to have a nice dark background to frame the shot. Honestly, I wouldn't mind there actually being a little bit of light here on the foreground trees. I think that could actually be pretty. But for now, with light on the castle and light on the background trees and sunbeams coming down through the mountains, fairy tale scene, love it. I honestly didn't really know what to expect walking up here, but this is definitely better than what I could have hoped for. It's so gorgeous. That light, that atmosphere, oh, fantastic. Now there is one thing about this scene that just annoys me so much, and that is that the cables for the cable car is going straight through it. It should be relatively easy to remove now in Photoshop, but still an annoyance. "10 years into doing hardcore landscape photography and doing it as much as I do, I still get surprised about how big of a difference a little bit of light, direct light, makes to a scene compared to flat light. It's of course not all scenes that benefits from it, but some scenes really do. The scene just becomes so much more dynamic. You get light on the foreground to separate the layers. The atmosphere gets lit, so you again separate the layers throughout the scene. It just makes such a massive difference. And obviously, if you want to learn much more about light, be sure to get my ebook on exactly that topic. Here I cover everything I know about light: front light, back light, side light, top light. I cover what light you can get throughout the day. I cover color, and I cover the impact of post-processing, because I do find that I need to cover post-processing when I also cover light. Not so much when I cover composition, but especially light, because post-processing makes a massive difference to both light and color. With 251 pages, it's my most comprehensive ebook yet, and I even added extended EXIF data where you can not just see shutter speed, aperture, ISO and focal length, but I've also covered whether the photo is focus bracketed, focus stacked, focal length blended, or what kind of filter I have used. There's a link to my ebook on light down in the description of the video, along with links to my ebooks on composition. So I'm just capturing that very last glow. I was so lucky that there was a little bit of a gap underneath the clouds. I thought it was just about done, the light, and then it pops out here at sunset. Beautiful orange light, soft light being thrown into the scene. I'm not sure if I actually prefer the photos where the sun is a little bit further up in the sky, still in the golden hour, but a little bit further up. But this last glow here is also beautiful. Also, my chopsticks here from Zirui works actually really well. Super lightweight. I would never bring them to Iceland or the Faroe Islands if there's any wind. But here, just to hold the camera, you don't need a big tripod. This here is more than sufficient to get the job done. So I'm on my way up to the famous viewpoint at Marienbrücke, going to spend some hours up there. So you can take a shuttle bus up to the castle and then go from there to the bridge. But I decided just to hike up there. It's a 40-minute hike, and I can definitely feel yesterday. So Marienbrücke, just when I arrived there was a lot of people, but I think it was because the shuttle bus maybe have just arrived and there was a lot of people coming over the bridge. It cleared out fast. I don't think there's that many people today because the weather is a bit meh. I'm simply just going to stay here, explore the area a little bit, see if I can find some of the different viewpoints that has been mentioned on different blogs, and basically just waiting for the weather, the light, whatever, to do something. I put on the 20 to 70 millimeter. That focal range seems to work really well for this location here. It's a loaner from Sony, and so far I actually think this lens is really nice. I'm not sure it's one I'm going to buy myself, but it's tack sharp, so I'm pretty satisfied with the photos that it produced so far. While standing here on the bridge, I had several weather systems passing me. It was one of those fantastic days where I got so much moved with the changing clouds and dynamic lighting conditions. The dappled light that filtered through the clouds and occasionally lit up the castle, the foreground trees and the background fields just proves yet again how important light is in photography. So I've been standing here photographing for about 45 minutes by now. Had some super moody clouds move into the backgrounds. Really heavy. From what I can see on the radar, there ain't even been lightning in them. I had a little bit of light creeping out at some point just while a shower was passing in the background. So I do think that I got a good photo that I can show you without having necessarily to time blend the photos with the most texture-rich clouds. Maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. It depends a little how much I like the one where there's actually direct light on the castle with that rain shower is there in the background. Right now it seems a local shower is coming in. And that's the thing when I'm out here in the field. I don't always know exactly what I'm going to do in post-processing. It's something I always decide about when I come back home to the computer. Whether or not Castle Neuschwanstein is a real tourist magnet, you cannot argue with the aesthetics. Neuschwanstein embodies both the contemporaneous architectural fashion known as castle romanticism and King Ludwig II's enthusiasm for the operas of Richard Wagner. In the 19th century, many castles were constructed or reconstructed, often with significant changes to make them more picturesque. And that is something we can enjoy today. Now, the building of this castle was highly controversial at the time because it was so expensive, and because of that, King Ludwig was highly disliked. Ironically, today, the tourist industry of the area is booming because of that castle. So I've been standing here for about 2.5 hours by now. I have looked a little bit further up, but honestly I prefer the viewpoint here from the bridge. Right now, I'm simply just set up my camera on the tripod, super unstable, but I'm just on like one of the planks here on the bridge because obviously when people walk past, it vibrates quite a lot. So right now, I'm simply just waiting for the light to pop out, getting a lot of dappled light, and hopefully at some point there will be some more moody clouds in the background. Right now, the clouds are a bit meh. One of the stereotypes you hear people blame photographers of is that we only see the world through the lens. I ended up standing on this bridge for 6 hours, but oh boy was it worth it. Just standing in the same spot over so many hours really makes you not just observe and appreciate the castle, but especially also the dynamic weather. So no, we don't just see the world through the lens. The eastern half of the Marienbrücke is often surprisingly empty, a stark contrast to the long line that forms to get on the bridge. This phenomenon is a fascinating display of human behavior. Most people stop at the very beginning to take photos, creating a significant bottleneck that prevents the available space from being fully used. In other words, it's a little bit silly. So the wind just decided to pick up. Some weather is supposed to come in just a moment. Some big clouds, some heavy rain. Yeah, it will probably translate to some pretty cool photos. During these 6 hours standing on the bridge, I took 443 photos, and these 3 were my favorites. I got some heavy rain in the end, and although it looked cool, the sky was just a bit bleh. But as you'll see later in this video, I will return and get something to the same effect, but with a much more interesting sky. And with the release of this video, it is your last chance to benefit from my summer sale, where you can get entire $100 off my huge post-processing course, Photoshop for Landscape Photographers. So, if you struggle with editing your photos, such as focus stacking, time blending, working with and editing with luminosity masks, dodging and burning, cleaning your photos properly, and much more, be sure to enroll. With 30 plus videos and 20 plus hours of techniques, there's a ton of value for the money. Just check out the quotes. You can find the discount code along with a link where you can read much more about the course down in the description of the video. If you see this after my summer sale has ended, do check out the description anyway. There will be a coupon code to get 15% off. So, up again. Sunset. There does seem to be a chance of the sun coming out, but maybe some rain will hit me first. I'm not entirely sure. So if nothing else, I am on a mission to get a blue hour photo of Neuschwanstein. Neuschwanstein. It's funny, I actually got a comment yesterday from my story on Instagram that I'm apparently the only one who can pronounce Neuschwanstein. Neuschwanstein. But blue hour photo of the lit castle from a slightly different perspective from where we were yesterday. I don't have to walk as far up, which is great because I was sweaty and hard yesterday. So now I'm just heading up here and hoping for the best. Look at that right there. I could potentially give something. The clouds out there look so epic. Wow. That rain and those layers. Cool. So holy macaroni. I love it when a plan works out. So over the day, I have just been looking at this place and been looking at photos at Hohenzollern from different angles on the social media, on the internet. I have not, and I promise you, have not researched per se this location or gotten a description of where to go from the internet. I figured this one out myself. Not really that hard to figure out, but wow, this here may be my favorite photo of Neuschwanstein so far. The glow, the atmosphere, the light, the rain, the mountains. Oh, everything that you would want from an epic shoot like this. Holy macaroni! That light is phenomenal. That atmosphere is phenomenal. Wow. Gosh, this is good. Can I get it all in there? Oh. Holy. Oh. Absolutely spectacular. Hallelujah. Wow. Look at that. The glow, the atmosphere. So right now I'm simply just hand holding the image stabilization and the Tamron 28 to 200 here. More than sufficiently good to get exactly what I want and get a stable photo. ISO 100 f8 gives me 1/30th of a second. Plenty good. Wow. And if I'm in doubt about whether I get a sharp photo, I just hammer off. I just shoot. Shouldn't be a problem here. 1/40th of a second with that light and glow there. I've lost the mountains in the background. That's kind of a bummer because they give so much dynamic. I can probably pull them out in post. Probably. Okay, here comes the rain. I can literally hear the rain coming towards me. Okay, I am going to shut you down until this passes. So I managed to climb a little bit further up the hill. You can see the road is down there and the perspective is slightly different towards Neuschwanstein. I'm actually not sure that I don't prefer the lower perspective because, as you can see on the photo I just captured here, which is bonkers, I get to cut that background hill with the towers of the castle. And from this perspective, the very top of the tallest of the towers of the castle is aligning exactly with the background mountain rim. And for me, that creates a point of tension in the photo. So I actually think that I will just head back down to where I was photographing before. Even though the castle is super beautiful from up here. I'll get the shot too. Now I'm sure there's some local German photographer sitting out there being all like that idiot mess walking down through all this crap when there's a road just 10 meters to the left. Oh. See, that's the huge benefit of photographing locally. You get to research and explore again and again and again and make your own experiences instead of just like out like me here, just bulldozing through what seems to be the most logical place and then end up in a little pond of water or something like that. Anyway. So I'm back down where I photographed that other bonkers photo. I don't think there's going to happen a whole lot more for sunset, so I'm just waiting around for blue hour and hopefully get a really cool photo of the castle being lit at blue hour from this perspective also. It's quite fun because as I'm down here at Neuschwanstein, I'm still working on my Hohenzollern Castle video. I think I've got some decent photos so far, but the fun thing is that just the 24 hours I've been down here, I've got more good photos of this castle than I have of the castle that I'm really focusing on. But there you go, like that's how landscape photography is, that's the weather. I guess this castle here is the more famous one. It is the more classic fairytale castle. It's the more famous castle. So I guess all is good that I get good photos here too. But I would really like to get something really good from Hohenzollern too. But yeah, well, I'll wait around for the blue hour and get the shot here and then head back down. So blue hour has arrived and the castle is beautifully lit. It stands out beautifully among the forests and the mountains. The composition, you will see it in a moment when I show you the photo. Right now I'm just in aperture priority, ISO 100, f8, and with the current brightness that gives me a shutter speed of 6 seconds. I'm just watching that I'm not blowing out the highlights of the castle, because when you're in aperture priority and the camera meters for the entire scene, then obviously as the ambient light gets darker, the castle gets relatively brighter, and then there's a risk that you will blow out the highlights of the castle. So just be aware of that when you do expose an aperture priority in blue hour scenes, when you get like such a high contrast element like a lit castle during the blue hour or into the night. This is not easy with an umbrella and a tripod in your hand. Ah! Well, I can't complain about the mood. All the mood I wanted yesterday is here now. So I've come down to the Swan Lake, Swan See, where I'm trying to get some different views towards the castle. So I come to this kind of like open area with some trees in the foreground, some forest in the foreground, the lake in the foreground, and then I have the castle up there on the mountains, surrounded or shrouded in fog. So compositionally it ought to be quite simple. I'm using these two trees here in the foreground to frame the castle, and then I'm simply just waiting for the fog and the atmosphere to do something of interest. There's just so much fog, which is actually low clouds, that it's only from time to time I can actually see the castle. Kind of feel I should have been up there. Kind of owe myself to get back up there. Oh. Yeah, I'll just wait for this to clear a bit more and get the shot here, and then I will see to what I'm going to do. This takes a while. I'm standing here for like half an hour now. Can't even see the castle. Supposed to stop raining in a few minutes. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then hopefully the clouds will move a little bit further up so I can see the castle again. And there it is. Beautiful, with low clouds surrounding it. Nice. It's not that I'm too cheap to pay for the bus transfer, but I do tell myself that it's healthy to break down your body hiking up these hills. Oh, one more time up to the Marienbrücke. Now, hopefully I'll get more fog as I just head down by the lake, but there's obviously no guarantee. So everything when it comes to landscape photography is like throwing the dice. Part of the game. And this is the reason why you do not want to wait in the middle of the day to get to Marienbrücke. Get there in the beginning of the day. The sun didn't really come out during the time I was standing on the bridge, which was only about 3 hours. But I did get some really awesome and heavy showers like the day before, and this time the clouds were much better and yielded a super moody photo. Not in the dappled light way, but the combination of the clouds, the heavy rain and overcast light actually made for a photo that I find to almost look like a painting. This was the last photo I captured of Castle Neuschwanstein, and I absolutely love it. Generally, I got so many gorgeous photos during these few days that it is hard to choose my favorite. That said, this one probably does it for me. Let me know down in the comments which is your favorite, or maybe your favorite isn't even on the screen right now. Anyway, just let me know which one from the video you liked the best. And be sure to benefit from the summer sale if you want to learn how to edit your photos, and get my ebooks about light and composition if that's something you want to improve. If you haven't seen last week's video from Hohenzollern, definitely check it out. I got some super photos in that one too. In next week's video, I'm going to get some amazing photos from what kind of looks like a boring waterfall. But don't worry, definitely check it out.